The second thing I'm going to be teaching you is the command extend. For that, you just have to select this, or you can use the command extend from here. It's asking me to select the objects to extend. I'm selected these objects and just extended them to this particular line. So that's how the command extend works. But I'm just gonna have to press Ctrl+Z to show you another application. Suppose I want these lines to extend till over here. For that, I just select these lines, use the command extend, and select the object, I just select these lines, use the command extend, and select the object like this while double pressing it. So that's what the that's how the extend command works. I think it's fairly easy. The next command is, I'm going to be teaching you the next command, that is the command mirror. For that, I'm just going to have to draw a random object, which is a rectangle, and another rectangle, and a line. Say I have this particular object and I want a symmetrical copy of this object. I don't want a copy, I want a symmetrical copy, basically a mirror image of this object. For that, I just have to select this object and click on the command mirror over here. It's asking me to specify the first point of the mirror line. Now, if you remember that when you're standing 5 centimeters away from the mirror, the distance of your reflection from you is going to be 10 centimeters. So if I want the distance between this object and its mirror object to be, say, 5 units, 5 units, so the distance of the mirror line has to be 2.5 from here. Say I want the distance to be 1000 units, the distance of the mirror line from this object has to be 500 units. So for that, I'm just going to have to hover my mouse over this area and click 500, press enter, and you see the mirror line can be in different directions. It's going in all sorts of different directions. I want it to be horizontal like this, and it's asking me to whether erase the source objects. I just press enter because the command of no has already been selected in default. So I just press enter, and that's how the command mirror works. So you just have to imagine that you're just placing a mirror in front of an object. The second thing that I'm going to be teaching you is the command fillet. So for that, I'm going to be drawing 2 different objects. For example, this particular line. I'll just show you what the command fillet does. Fillet rounds and fillets the edges of objects. So it's basically going to change the edge of the object to a round thing. So I'll just select this command. It's asking me to select the first object, and it's asking me to select the second object. If I zoom in, you can see it did nothing, but that doesn't mean the command didn't work. It's basically because we didn't enter any radius while filleting the object. So if I use the command fillet again, select my first object, and you can see over here, select second object or radius. If I just enter the radius to be, say, 500, and then I select my second object, you see a curve has appeared over here. Now suppose I wanted this, while creating this curved object, I wanted this particular line to be gone. I only wanted the edges of this object to be rounded. So for that, I'm just going to erase this particular arc and I enter the command fillet again. This time you can see that there are 4 different options over here. You can see the command polyline, radius, trim and multiple. For now I'm going to use the command trim. So it's asking me to enter trim mode. If I enter the trim mode to T and enter, let's see what that does. I select the first object and I select the second object. You see the corner that was appearing, it's gone now. So that's how the trim command works. Some people may already have the no trim command activated, so for that I think you understood how that is. So just press Ctrl plus Z again and I'll show you other things of the fillet command. I just enter F, enter, and it's asking me multiple. Say I have this particular corner and I have these corners. I want to change the shape of all these corners, so I just enter M, enter, and I select these objects. I keep selecting them and they're gonna change their corners. But to do this very quickly, I had this as a polyline. This particular thing is polyline and so is this particular object. So to do this a bit quickly, I'm just going to enter fillet and this time I'm going to use polyline. So if I just select the polyline, that's what it's going to do. It just created corners over this polyline. Well, if I just have the no trim command activated, if I have the trim command activated in this, T, enter, trim, and I activate the polyline command after that. If I select this, all of this is going to be a polyline. Even the corners, the rounded arches, they have become a polyline. Instead, if we have the no trim command activated, the arcs are different and this line is different. So I hope you understood what the fillet command does. Next, I'm going to be showing you the chamfer command. So fillet command is similar to chamfer command. In fillet command, we have a kind of an arc instead of a corner. In chamfer, there's a line instead of a corner. I'm just going to be showing you that. For that, I'm just going to have to delete all these lines. So if I just use the chamfer command, the shortcut for chamfer is CHA. It's asking me to select the first line and it's asking me to select the second line. Again, it did nothing because we didn't choose any chamfer distance. So I'm just going to select this command again, select the first line, enter the distance, D, enter. It's asking me to specify the first chamfer distance. I'm going to specify it as 100, enter. The second chamfer distance I'll specify as 500 and enter. And if I just select the second line now, you see that a small line is appearing over here. Herein the distance of this particular thing is 100 and this particular thing is 500. So this is how the chamfer command works. If I just enter the chamfer command again, you can see it has similar options as that of the command fillet. It works in a similar way. I hope you just practice on your own and understand how these commands work on your own. Except that you have over here is the angle. So over here I specified the distance initially. I can also specify the chamfer command using the angle. If I just press A, enter, and if I just enter the chamfer command, if I select the first line and I just enter the angle, it's asking me to specify the chamfer length 200. Angle, and it's asking me the first, and I enter the second as 202. So the chamfer angle is coming to be invalid because 200 degrees is not an appropriate angle. So since we entered the angles of 200 and 200, and the command was showing invalid because we cannot have two different angles like that. Now if I enter the chamfer command again and I select my first line and enter the angle, say I select the angle of 45 degrees for the first one and 45 degrees for the second line and select this, you can see it's selected 45 and the second angle is also 45. If I just press enter and select this, you see the angle of 45, it's chamfer at an angle of 45 degrees. The angle from here to here is 45 and the angle from here to here is also 45. So you must make sure that if you have this particular angle at if you have this particular angle, say 90, the other two angles should also add up to 90. So basically I'm not here to teach you maths, you can understand those angles by yourself. 45 angle is basically the angle of this imaginary line and this line, the chamfer angle. So that's how the command chamfer works. The final command in this video that I'm going to be showing you is the command scale. The scale command is a pretty widely used command. For example, if I have this particular object, I'm just going to delete this and make a new object over here. See, I make this rectangle over here and I have the dimensions of we have random dimensions. I'm just going to enter a rectangle with specific dimensions this time. Say I have 5000 by 4000. So over here we have a rectangle like this with the dimensions 5000 per 4000. So say we want to scale it to a different size. To activate the command scale, you just have to select the object, enter SC, enter. It's asking me to select the base point, that's going to be this, and you see that the triangle in the rectangle, it has changing sides. Presently the scale factor is coming to be 1.4, but I want a scale factor which is exact 2, so that means that the rectangle is going to be 2 times its original size. I'm just going to press 2 and enter. So the rectangle has been scaled to twice the size. The next command, property of the scale command would be, suppose I have this rectangle and I want to scale it, and I specify the base point as this. Now you can see that I have an option of reference here. So if I enter enter, and it's asking me to specify the reference length. Suppose I want to change the dimension of this particular line in an object to say 200, and I want to scale the entire object according to that. I don't want to calculate the scale factor for everything, so I'll just use the reference length. So I want this particular length to be 200. I select this, I press, it's asking me to specify new length now. I want this length to be 200 and I press enter. So the whole object is scaled according to that particular length now. So that's how the scale command works. If you want to know if you that you scaled this object perfectly, you just enter the command di. It is the command for distance. This line is now 200 and this line is now 250. So the whole object is scaled according to what you wanted it. So I guess that's it for this video. I hope you understood. I know we struggled a bit in the chamfer command, but I hope you finally understood how the chamfer command works. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next videos.